أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. In the eyes of all genuine lovers of knowledge, after Quran, the unique, miraculous word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Nahjul Balagha, the words of Mulla Ali alayhi salam, are most inspirational words of wisdom and guidance for mankind. We propose over the next 3 short talks to answer some principal questions through the book Nahjul Balagha Revisited, penned in 1982 by a great contemporary scholar of our era, Marhum Al-Haj Mulla Asghar M.M.Jaffar. May Allah grant him high position in Jawari Masumin. We'll address in each of the 3 parts a separate question. First one being, what is Nahjul Balagha and how to transverse into the journey of Nahjul Balagha. In the second part, we will look at what do we know about the person from whose blessed lips these words were transmitted to mankind. And final part will deal with some sample of unique and inspiring words of Nahjul Balagha through Kalimatul Qisar, translated by Marhum Mulla Asghar M.M.Jaffar. I heard about Nahjul Balagha when I was a child, says Marhum Mulla Asghar. There were hardly a majlis in which these famous collections of Imam Ali's sermons, letters and short sayings went unmentioned. Ulama spoke highly about it, and I decided to read it myself, going through the text in English, Urdu, Gujarati and Persian. I am not unashamed, Marhum Mulla admits, that I found nothing extraordinary in the book. It was only when I read it in Arabic, in the words spoken by Imam Ali alayhi salam himself, that I felt enthralled. Subsequently, there arose before me a billowing ocean of eloquence, wisdom, and within me I felt unable to fathom its depth. Mullah Sahib says, I read a line over and over again to comprehend what my Imam meant, and as I probed, I came to realize that his words were truly inspired. For a mortal may speak, but not with so much meanings, squeezed into few words. Then he goes on to say that he came across the work of Shaheed Murtaza Mutahari, a great Islamic scholar, martyred during the initial days after the Iranian Revolution, Islamic Revolution in Iran. And he mentions the work entitled Seyre Dar Nahjul Balagha, a journey into Nahjul Balagha, and said, it proved to me how little I understood Nahjul Balagha despite my fascination. For the first time, the words spoken by Imam Ali came to my mind with new meanings and messages. Mutahari, in this introductory masterpiece, is completely at home with language, style and contents of Nahjul Balagha. His translation of words is precise, his comments revealing and incisive. Added to this, he has given a detailed treatment to the literary aspects, exposing its beauty and splendor to a lay reader. Interestingly enough, Mullah mentions, Mutahari himself says, as a child, I knew Nahjul Balagha by name. and I had seen a copy in my father's collection later. During my student days in Mashhad and Qum, I often heard Nahjul Balagha being mentioned as an excellent and authentic book, second to Quran. Some sermons on self-denial and withdrawal from the worldly pleasure fell on my ears so often that most of them were on my tongue. But I must confess that I was a complete stranger to the world of Nahjul Balagha, till when I chanced to go to Isfahan one summer and met a godly scholar who initiated me into the realm of the sacred book. He was an expert jurist, well versed in literature and a competent student of traditional medicine. In these subjects he excelled and his lectures were well attended. But when he spoke on Nahjul Balagha, one could sense a spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling, something inexpressible. He lived and breathed with Nahjul Balagha. His pulse and heartbeats were in rhyme with Nahjul Balagha. He was the great Aqaya Haj Mirza Ali Aka Shirazi. Nahjul Balagha is full of eloquence. Words used are appropriate and at times metaphoric, with the purpose to encompass the meaning and implications fully. At times they are cryptic to the uninitiated. Nahjul Balagha, as is well known, was compiled by Sharif Radhi, one of the renowned ulama of the 4th century. Besides being a faqih of high repute, he was a fine scholar in Arabic literature. And Sheikh Muhammad Abu, a great scholar of Egypt, quotes in a preface to Nahjul Balagha as follows. He says, Sharif Radhi is a man of wonderful attainment and noblest among the Sadat of Iraq. Besides, he stands unequaled in his exposure and understanding of Nahjul Balagha. Amongst all the famous poets and literary giants of his time, he towers high. In fact, none is able to reach his height. Sharif Radhi, in his own preface, gives us an insight into how the sermons of Imam Ali influenced him. He says that my friends requested me to compile a book containing selected saying of our Mulla Amirul Mu'mineen, and he goes on to relate how he found this jewel of Arabic literature, radiant words of religious as well as secular wisdom, all in the words of Mawla Ali. Amirul Mu'mineen is the fountainhead of eloquence and source of Arabic rhetoric. From him we found hidden treasures of wisdom, and the famous lectures followed his style, and renowned preachers quoted his saying. Yet he is far above those who tried to emulate him. When you look at Nahjul Balagha, it is a concise introduction, as Marhum Mulla says, to prepare oneself to understand and delve into Nahjul Balagha. We need that introduction into Nahjul Balagha. He says, I have translated in my own way and style some of the paramount features of Nahjul Balagha. The passages deal with fundamentals and with the other ancillary subjects. Needless to mention, the inspiration I have received from the works of Marhum Allama Sayyid Muhammad Hussain Tabai, Marhum Sheikh Murtaza Mutahari, and Allama Muhammad Taqi Jafari was in a great aid and guidance in my works. Finally, he says beautifully, condensing his comments, he says, to translate Nahjul Balagha is a mammoth task, and the scholars who devoted their time to these invaluable endeavors deserve our admiration. What is needed, however, is a concise introduction to Nahjul Balagha to prepare a student before he plunges into the depth of the great book. In so doing, it was necessary to select a few passages as beacon so that the way is well lit and the veil is lifted. I have translated some of the paramount features of Nahjul Balagha. Needless to mention, I am indebted to all those great ulamas who have written tremendous works in translating and explaining Nahjul Balagha. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He may grant us tawfiq to delve into this greatest treasure of wisdom and guidance that we have in our hands in form of Nahjul Balagha and the words of Mawlaya Muttaqiyan Asadullah al-Ghalib Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi alayh.